Hi everyone, it's Susie B here, and we're about to hear from Teresa Gibbison. She's talking to us all the way over from New Zealand, so it's a little bit later into Saturday than it is here on the east coast of Australia, and she's going to talk to us about her work at the University of Waikato. Are you ready to go, Teresa?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Susie.
Okay, handing over to you now. I'll be around in the background if you need me.
That's great. Okay, thanks everyone for turning up. It's lunchtime here in New Zealand. I'm not sure what time it is with you, but I've just had a scone and a cup of tea, so all set to go. I'm not going to keep my video on. I just thought I'd say hello and let you know what I look like for those that don't know me. And so we'll get started. So my name's Teresa Gibbison. I've been Moodling since 2004. So according to the Moodle.org, that's 8 years and 293 days ago. I'm proud to be a particularly helpful Moodler most of the time. That is a status that you get for posting helpful contributions to the forums, and it is calculated on a monthly basis. So I've actually not currently got it at the moment because I've been a bit slack on the forums, but I'll get it back in no time. I'm also a registered course creator, a quality assurance tester, and Waikato also maintain the Waikato Māori language pack, so I look after that as well through Amos. So today I'm going to give you a little bit of history about Panopto and how we brought it into the university and why, and also how it's how we believe Moodle has helped increase the use of Panopto, and how it's also made my life as a system administrator, the Moodle integration, how that's made my life a heck of a lot easier. So first the history. So Panopto was introduced in 2009 at Waikato as a solution to allow us to capture content on iTunes for iTunes U. So the intention was that public seminars, special events, and lectures would be captured and put up to iTunes U so people could see how wonderful the university is. We liked Panopto because it ran on any machine, existing technology, so we didn't need a specialised computer in each of the teaching rooms. It runs on Windows and on Mac, so our staff could use it at their desks. They could also use it at home and of course in the lecture theatres as well. The integration with Moodle was also a major influence, and of course with Moodle's open source code, it allowed us to enhance the integration and make it better for us. So that integration basically let me, let me free up some of my time. So when we first got Panopto in, without the integration with Moodle, I was tasked with creating individual Panopto folders for staff to record to, and each one was done individually. Each teacher was needed to be added manually. We used Active Directory groups which had to be manually assigned to the folders, and it was pretty time consuming and not my favourite job, particularly at the start of the semester when everybody wanted it sort of all at once. Although not majorly used at the time, it was still a bit of a task. So we integrated with Moodle. It happened in end of October 2010, which was a massive leap forward for my admin tasks. It allowed authentication through Moodle, and also it allowed teaching staff to create their own folders by configuring the Moodle block in their Moodle course. When the block was configured in their course, it meant that anybody in that Moodle course with editing access was automatically assigned to that folder as a recorder or a presenter, and anybody with viewing access, like students or student support roles, had view access to all of those recordings. And, that was automatic, so it meant that I didn't have to, manually add the Active Directory group or manually add the lecturer, so that was really good. The other thing about the block is that it was put on, and I'll show you this later, but the block sits on the Moodle course. It has RSS links from it. It automatically shows links to the recordings that have been completed, and also provides links for the teachers to go directly into the CourseCast interface. Now, because the code is open source, we found that we had some issues with the integration, but could easily fix those ourselves. So we've got a developer in the team, Troy, and he did some great work to enhance the integration and make it a bit more smoother for us. So initially the block would run through all courses with the block that was there and checked every single user to make sure all of the roles were correct. Of course, this took time and processing, so Troy tweaked the code so that it would only check for any changes in the course, so any changes in the activity, and would then just check the access for those courses. We then also found that when we pointed a Panopto block in one course to display recordings from another course, the users weren't created correctly in the system, so we tweaked that as well. And of course, with Moodle's event API coming in, we were able to trigger the user changes on Moodle's enrollment event, so that also increased performance significantly. And of course, we couldn't have done that if Moodle wasn't open source. So that's been brilliant. So as mentioned, we started using Panopto to allow us to create iTunes U content. So public seminars and special events, our Vice-Chancellor's address to staff were all captured, and our annual e-learning conference, Whistlefest. I use Panopto to record what's coming up with Moodle enhancements and make the links available to anybody using Moodle. So if they can't come to the sessions when I advertise them, then they can watch it later. So it's been really great to be able to disseminate that sort of information. Now, one of the main things that we sort of thought when we brought Panopto in was actually lecture recording. But it's leaped further than that. So while we've got our lecturer Kim here recording herself and her slides during a lecture for her students, she's also able to go back and reflect on her presentation, reflect on her practice. So, we have student course evaluations, but, being able to actually see yourself present really makes a big difference with teacher reflection. We also have staff that use Panopto to record video feedback on assignments. So here we've got Rosina annotating, or not annotating, but talking through a document. She's got some video up of herself chatting through the student's submission. So, while written feedback can be powerful, audio feedback has also been shown in research to be more powerful than margin notes. And it also gives that personal touch to the feedback as well. So, Rosina's actually going through it, and it's like she's there with the student. The recordings are then, of course, only shared with the individual students, and that's via the feedback area. of the Moodle assignment screen. Indeed, that's a good question. Seeing if staff are adjusting their practice, we have had feedback from some of our lecturers that they have. So I believe some of the others in the team are sort of, yeah, gonna, we're looking at doing some case studies as well and sort of publishing them on our website. So that's, going to be good too. Another beauty of Panopto is that it allows you to use multiple video sources. So here we've got Raina using the document camera to demonstrate the use of a laser on a balloon. So while it might not seem clear, here's a laser, he's actually got a filter on it, and this black thing is a balloon. It luckily is not in the shape of a cute puppy dog, but he's showing the effects of that laser on the balloon, and within seconds it bursts. So using the document cameras and digital whiteboards and tablets has also sort of increased the use of of Panopto as well. This is a shot of Lucy who's using Panopto to introduce another topic in her Moodle course. So Moodle can be used to reduce that transactional distance, and because Lucy's able to do this at her office or even at home on her laptop, it makes it really easy to be able to record really quick intros to a section to a topic, which is then linked in the section as well as on the side block, and also Lucy's and others have used Panopto to explain things further. So where students are having difficulty, they can do a quick 5-10 minute recording to explain something in greater depth and allow the students just to view that in their own time. So within a year, we had staff asking how students could use Panopto. So, a bit of an example of a flipped class here. We have students actually creating content. So this was a group presentation of creating some content. The students got together and rather than, using lots of lecture time to present each individually, they used Panopto to record so others could view, and then of course they could discuss, how they went, etc. There was also a forum set up in Moodle to discuss each other's presentations as well in this instance. It was also used for student reflection, so students would use Panopto to record themselves presenting, and in this instance they're using it as a Dragon's Den type exercise where groups were making a pitch for a product that they wanted to promote. So this was in a management course. We've seen it in Te Reo courses where students language practice exercises, and they're recording each other doing a mihi or a song or an introduction of themselves, and they can go back and see how they went and reflect on that. So, reviewing these recordings, was pretty powerful for the students. Let's get my secretary to rush to the phone. Sorry about that. So we also have, because you can have multiple video sources, here we've got pronunciation exercises getting recorded, and Menika is displaying how her mouth moves and the shape of her mouth and how the tongue moves through each through words, while she's pronouncing each word, and that offers a more in-depth instruction to those learning the new language. Here's my Moodle orientation video. So this is basically just using Panopto as a screencast. So this is like a 10-minute video of going through the basics of Moodle. And you can see on the left-hand side here that Panopto creates a table of contents, so students can quickly skip to a certain area in a Panopto video to just watch that bit. I've noticed that the same thing happens here with Big Blue Button, actually, with shots of the presentation. You can quickly click on it when you're reviewing a recording. Now, this has been awesome for me as well, because I used to go to each individual orientation session that faculty would put on and stand there for 15-20 minutes explaining to people how they could use Moodle, and how you upload an assignment and how you do a quiz. Well, now I just basically say play the video, so I don't have to be in 10 places at once. We'll try and find, particularly at the start of a semester, try and find time to get to all those different places. So, and this is linked in the help links. So this is Moodle. You might be able to see our little bar there. So there's Moodle Help, and it's linked there as well. So students can go and see this at any time they like. So we did some statistics last year, and I've kind of updated them a little bit for this presentation, but you can see here the round circle represents 24 hours. And this is average viewing statistics per week. So when we first brought Panopto in, it was the second half of 2009, we had 4 folders. So that wasn't hard for me to create, but you can see here in 2012 we had 243. So we had 18 hours approximately, an average of 18 hours a week of viewing. In 2010, so we had 68 folders. That jumped up to 108 average hours a week of viewing. It was about October 2010 that we implemented the integration with Moodle, and you can see that we basically leapt ahead with the viewing, and the folders went from 68 to 156. So I hope you can see this all right. It's not terribly clear unless you blow it up. Oh, wait on, I can do that. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Haha. Deal. Okay, so you can see here that it's leapt up, and around about October we implemented the integration with Moodle, and so teachers could actually create their own folders. So in 2012, 2014, we had 243 folders in 2012, 581 average hours of viewing per week. And so far, this is just from January to May, so it's summer school and, not quite all of a semester. We've already got 229 folders. That's active folders with recordings in them, and 691 average hours per week during that time. So you can see that there's been a massive increase, and we think that has actually been partially attributed to students actually really loving the feedback, being able to review their paper, their lectures, but we also think it's easier for the staff to do this, and anything that's easy for staff, then they're more likely to do it. So I'm going to now give you, rather than screen share, I have created some screenshots because it's oh, have you lost me? Can you still hear me? I wonder if this sound went, brilliant. I switched, sorry, Susie, I think what happened was I switched to a different presentation. So rather than screen share, I just did some screenshots of the process. So this is the process that a teacher needs to go through, and you can see it's fairly straightforward. So they just add a block, choose Panopto. So this is in their course. The block appears, so you can see that it's not configured yet. So they click the small edit icon, and they configure the block. And we've done a bit of work on this particular configuration area because it was a bit tricky. So we've sort of made this a little bit more user-friendly. So this is a screenshot of using a drop-down to select an existing folder. So sometimes we have courses that are taught in Hamilton, but also taught in Tauranga, which is a sort of a satellite campus. And what happens is the material is shared between the two of them. So we might have a tutor over in Tauranga supporting the students, but the main lecture is done on Hamilton campus. So it's recorded and added to the Hamilton Moodle course, but if the Tauranga course has a separate Moodle space, then they just point to the Hamilton folder in Panopto. So they're both able to view those folders. Now we did find, and this is one of the code tweaks that we did, that the Tauranga students weren't actually created in Panopto correctly, so we changed that integration to make that a bit smoother. Now if you don't want to create a block that points to another course, then you just click the Create New Folder link, so that's a big link there. We made it big so the staff couldn't miss it. It was a bit smaller than that. Some of them couldn't find it. So you get a success confirmation, and then the block looks like this initially. So this is a block that's got no live sessions happening. It has got a recording, and you can see the RSS feeds here, as well as for the teacher view, the teacher gets the course settings and also the links to download the recorder if they don't already have it. So then when the staff go to this was also showing that when the block is created, it automatically creates the creator and the viewer access. So people with teacher access, so here's a teacher here, Tracy's a teacher, Troy, get creator access, and then Troy's student and Tracy's student accounts get viewer access. So that's done automatically. I don't have to do that anymore. And so this is a shot of the Mac recorder. So the Windows recorder looks slightly different to this. And you can see here that there's a folder drop down. Now also when you log in using this integration, you are logging in via your Moodle site. So I haven't got a screenshot of that, but I could do that if people are interested. So the folder is here, and when you do your recording, you give it a name, you record what you need to, and automatically it's saved into the block. I think I've got those shots around the wrong way. Yes, I have. Sorry. So it would look, yeah, so there it is there, blah, blah, de blah recording. So it's that easy. The staff basically just create the block, configure it to either point to a different folder or create a new one. Then when they go to the recorder, they select that folder, select what they want to record, hit a big record button. When they're finished, they click the stop button, and then that's it. It all happens magically in the background for them, and the link is automatically published to Moodle. So, unless anybody wants me to actually share a bit more, I did think that was going to take a bit longer, but any questions? Or does anyone want me to repeat any of it or show you again? No questions? I'm so good at explaining things. Lindy, no. Panopto it's a separate recording piece of software, and Charlotte, yes, there is a cost. Um, Unfortunately, it's quite a considerable cost, um, but it's working for us at this point, and so you know we have to weigh that up. The recordings are done, they're standalone recordings, so you can also go to a web address to view them. Lindy, basically the integration with Panopto and Moodle is the block. So you've got the authentication happens from Moodle, and also the folders are linked to a course, and so any recordings you put in a folder are automatically shown on that course's block. Yes, it does indeed. Yeah, Moodle does act as the hub, and you know definitely is seamless, and it's so easy for staff to actually be able to set this up. So there's also the ability, Lindy, in Panopto to add a Dropbox um, subfolder inside your courses folder, which then lets each individual student create a recording, and it's kind of like it's hidden from other students. So if you were all students in my course and I created a Dropbox, if Linda, you created a recording, only you'd be able to see it, unless I moved it from your Dropbox or that Dropbox area into the main folder. So everyone gets to see what's in the main folder, and students can use a Dropbox for their own. Some of the examples that I showed, though, were actually recordings that were just put into the main course folder, so everybody got to see it. The other thing is that you can download podcasts. So as well as the RSS feeds, you can provide audio podcasts or video podcasts. So that's quite handy as well. And we use that for our Whistlefest recordings. So rather than having people log into the CourseCast interface, we simply put the resources onto our Whistlefest website, which I'm just going to give you the link to so you can have a look. So yes, Randy, typically the recordings do only use one camera. Most of the time, the recordings that are done within a lecture theatre have the video, which has actually been configured to be captured from our security cameras. So so that displays, and actually, if I show you, just go back to Kim's slide, or actually even Raina's. So the security camera in this case has been zoomed in to show that specific area, and that's able to be configured via the controls on the desk. So the staff member or the teacher can actually zoom in, zoom out. We have some rooms that are tracking cameras, and not always fantastic, because if you're too fast it loses you. Here you can see that Raina's using slides as well. So the beauty with Panopto when you're capturing with PowerPoint is that it creates these thumbnails down the bottom. Okay, so these are just individual slides. So Raina's also capturing another video source, and that's the object video, which in this case is the document camera. So if a student wants to flick between slides and object video, then they just use the tabs at the top here. So yes, this is a document camera, and you can see that Raina's actually using that over here. So the things that he's getting captured are also getting projected on the screen through the, through the control computer on the lectern, but it's also getting captured by Panopto. So typically there's typically one camera. We have had, when I showed you the pronunciation exercises, I've been experimenting with two cameras to try and get the mouth view from a couple of different cameras, with mixed results. Can edit them later. Randy, typically they get put automatically onto onto the server. They get processed, and then they're available automatically through the Moodle course. You can edit them. It's mainly just top and tailing though, or chopping bits in the middle. So I've done that quite a bit of editing with my Moodle orientation video because you know how you go through a script and then you're like, oh, whoops, oh. So you kind of go back and edit those bits out. So, but typically we sort of say just to make it as casual as you can and not where it really, we're not in the business of filming, commercials. So, you basically, yeah, I do say lots of ums, and I actually also say so a lot. So I don't, yeah, see, so I don't tend to go back and listen to myself. Yeah, um, but yeah, it's also you notice your hand. Some people notice that their hands are flying all over the place, but yeah. So I think it's the content that's important, not the slickness of it. Yeah. When will we run out of disk storage? I have been doing some archiving. One of the things that we're trying to encourage our staff to do is actually create recordings that can be reused. And you know, we it's just so easy to create a new folder that what tends to happen is that the staff members just go, oh yeah, create a new folder and go into the recording, go into the room and start a new one. It's pretty easy, so they tend to just do that. And so we're trying to encourage staff to actually create content chunks and to reuse them over and over, and sort of use that lecture time to discuss the hard things, or to flip that classroom basically. So if they record their chunk and make it available, then the students can actually view it before the lecture. So this is the grand scheme. Um, but yeah, with disk storage, I've been archiving some of the older things. So if we go back to the stats slide, the 2009, 2010 folders have been archived, apart from those that have got content that is reusable or is constantly used. I did archive the 2011, so we're sort of having a bit of a plan to keep a year's worth of stuff there. So yeah, yeah, as yeah, Lindy says, it does show the uptake. It's been, you know, we were blown away in 2012. It's like, wow, look at this, and it's just, it has to plateau at some point. Um, but yeah, it's still. I mean, you can see the viewing statistics are sort of plateauing out a little bit there, but the number of folders. I mean, last year we had 243 for the whole year. We've got 229 just for this year. So, this half of the year. So we've got B semester to go yet. Yeah, there are, as my esteemed colleague advises, we do have Panopto Help material. Like my Moodle one was an example. The law library uses it. This is how you search the library databases, and we've got some staff that also provide um, how-to sort of videos as well. Thanks, Susie. I quite like my statistics slide. So feel free to ask any other questions. You can grab the mic if you want. Have a chat. And because we're using Panopto, you don't have to use Panopto. I mean, the ability to record chunks of your course content at your desk and put it in your Moodle course um, can be done using lots of things. Big blue button allows you to record things. We could be recording this and then putting it in a course. You could be using did anybody see the YouTube video session? That was really cool. You can actually record and it gets stored to YouTube, and then you can link to it. It gets embedded in the course, so that was pretty cool as well. Randy, yes, I'm very grateful that I have a colleague that does development. We've got oh sorry, the existing. Let's just have a look. Got a link to GitHub repository. So this guy here, and Mar8, is actually doing a lot of work on the Panopto integration using it's a new SOAP version. So Panopto, I think, are sort of like, oh well, as long as it works, it's all good sort of thing. But we've actually made it a bit more user friendly and a bit better on performance. And this guy is also doing some enhancements as well. And so Panopto are actually have used this ANDMAR 8 version of the Panopto SOAP block as part of their development. So I think they appreciate the fact that Moodle is open source and people are able to actually help with that development. So I'm not sure what their resourcing is like. Bound to be better than ours though. Actually, that answered your question, kind of. We're upgrading to 2.5 in November. We typically do our releases at the end of the year to avoid disruption to our students. So we, we'll be taking a hard look at that and making sure that it's all good. But yeah, it is a block. You're right. So it doesn't affect any of the rest of the core code. So yeah, chaos was part of the fun. Yeah, I don't think our staff would be too rapt with that, actually, to be honest. Even planned chaos they don't like. We've got 3 days that are scheduled through the year. Moodle Free Mondays they're called, and it's before the first semester, in the middle of the year, and after B semester, in between B semester and summer school. And our Moodle Free Mondays are days that should be in the calendar for all staff that say Moodle could well be down for the whole day. So don't plan anything. Don't have due dates on this date. And those are our upgrade days. So if it's just a small upgrade, it only takes an hour or whatever, then that's cool. But it actually lets us do all of our maintenance, so on the servers and the server operating systems and on Moodle, and any sort of enhancements and extras that we need. And with Moodle's new release schedule, then it's going to be even more important that our Moodle Free Mondays are there. But of course, you tell the staff about them, and you let them know many times. But it's also it's all such a surprise when it happens. So Linda, we still have chaos. Don't you worry about that. Where would we be without it? Um, where would we be? Comments Nigel/Stephen. um, some of our staff have the ability to record using Podcast Producer, so some on Macs can do that. I think we'd have some staff that would really miss it and probably be a bit grumpy. So, if we're always looking at alternatives because there is a license fee with this. It's proprietary, so it's just one of those things that we're always looking at. And but at the moment, this is our tool, and the staff love it, and the students love it. So it's a bit like Moodle. Where would we be without that? My goodness, I think we'd all be hung and quartered. Yes, Randy, we are still using iTunes U. So we do have stuff that goes up there. I think mainly from the recruitment and the international sort of centre, some of our public seminars and stuff, we have a thesis in 3 competition that I didn't put that slide in there, where students doing their thesis, present their thesis in 3 minutes. So they're competing for a prize, a cash prize, and so they're all recorded and put onto iTunes U. So there's all the heats and then the semi-finals and then the finals. So it's that's during our postgraduate week, and so those are yeah it's pretty cool. I think they really enjoy it, actually, and it's a chance as well for our students to be able to showcase what they're doing. You don't always know what's going on, in your institution, so it's nice to sort of have all these showing off. We also have law seminars and biology seminars and things that those are all put up. Staff can apply to put something up onto iTunes U, and of course, the only sort of worry about that sort of thing is the content. So we're all into my team is trying to encourage staff to ensure that they have Creative Commons and open content. So so that sort of thing's gonna would be easier to do. But yeah, you do have to be careful about what you put up onto iTunes U. So we've got a wee checklist that needs to, things need to go through, and that's dealt with by our communications department. Any other questions? That's me. Thanks, everyone.
Right, thanks, Teresa, for that. That was fabulous. I know a number of universities who should be following in your footsteps. Shall I send them all your way to have a talk with you?
Can indeed. We'd be happy to talk with others.
That's why I love the Moodle community, because we share. Okay, so thanks very much for that. If we've got any other questions, we'll move over into the forum and keep talking in there. If everyone's happy, we'll wrap up right now. Okay, I think everyone's saying bye now, so see you later, everyone, and this recording will be available in a little time. Bye.
Thanks, Susie. See ya. Thanks, everyone, for coming.